JDM versus Belal. What a fight, man. Definitely over delivered for sure. Made up for all the other fights on the card, aside from like the Aldo one. And man, it definitely over delivered. First impressions, I'm just blown away by Bilal's performance. I don't understand what that was. Kudos to JDM. And that's the thing. Like, in any other alternate dimension, reality, whatever you want to call it, I'd be over the moon for JDM. And like I said, I still am like, he's a great fighter and he did amazing. But in this reality, Ilya Taporia versus Makhachev was on the line if Belal won. And I was just devastated, especially watching as the rounds go on and just wondering what's the game plan here. Like, as much as people want to say that Belal is like, oh, he's this no heart, no this, no that. He showed he has a chin and a half on him now. I don't know how that's possible, but man, he was very clearly rocked at multiple times during this fight, and he stayed on his feet until the very bitter end, where on round 5 he was literally like inches away from being flatlined. And I'm very surprised that JDM didn't get him out of there. I thought he would have. As the fight went on, I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm probably wrong about the Belal pick. Now, just when everyone needed Belal to win, and he had temporary fans just for this one fight, he decides to throw barely any takedowns. Everyone was thinking that you look at Jack's previous performances against Burns, against Hafez, you see him get ragdolled. And I think the big thing that people are forgetting, me included, like I'll be honest, is that the power of youth and good training and the good camps. Because everyone was like, yeah, Jack doesn't have the takedown defense, Jack this and that and this that. With the power of Craig Jones, and he had youth on his side, like I said, so he has time to get better. He's developing his skills. That's what I'm saying. Old dogs can't learn new tricks. It is kind of true in the fight game. Like, once you're kind of like Bilal's age, you can improve still, like looking at Pereira, but, you know, definitely when you're younger, you're going to take leaps and bounds ahead. And Jack really showed that, and I'm really impressed, especially not only with his takedown offense, but his fight game and his striking inside the fight. Like, he would threaten so many uppercuts and knees and stuff. So he made it like, if Belal wanted to go for a takedown, it would be hell, man. And, like, I'm just, it blows my mind how Belal, I thought, hey, man, let's shoot takedown after takedown. Sure, you're going to fail a lot. JDM's improved, for sure. But let's keep going, not strike. And that's the thing. Belal would get rocked and he would go right back in there. He would go for a few takedowns, but most of the time when he got like stunned and rocked or whatever, he would go right back in and go for the fight and try to get some shots off. And like, I'm impressed by Belal, man. Not by his like fight IQ or performance, but just his heart alone, man. You got to give him that. JDM really brought the fight out of him, because normally Belal has a very boring style, and that's what everyone was really predicting. But yeah, JDM brought a different kind of animal out of Belal. And, you know, like I said, I don't love Belal's style at all. This fight was an exception. It may be the Brady fight. But other than that, like, he just looked terrible on the feet, man. I know he hit Jack a few times. Nothing significant. Like, he landed a few where JDM was like, oh, okay, whatever. But nothing to where you got the caution lights on, like, meh, you know. But and then not only that, you could see the power difference night and day. JDM would hit him with some shots, and it would be like, whoa, you know, and rightfully so. JDM's the striker, and that just goes to more of the point, like, why is Belal striking with the striker? And it just, he said, I think in the corner he was like, oh, JDM's a little slippery or whatever. But it's like, bruh, yeah, because he's sweating. Like, you just got to keep going. Where was that Leon Edwards performance? Where was that I guess he still had the hunger because he could have wilted against all that damage, especially in round 5. But man, very, very confusing to watch. Now, if we look at total strikes here, whole fight, Belal threw 349, landed 155 at 44%. JDM threw 364, landed 200 at 55%. And keep that in mind, JDM's shots all had way more power in them. So even though it wasn't like, I know, 45 strikes away, but still, like, even if it was a closer gap, JDM still would have won because of the damage. Now, takedowns. Belal shot 9. I don't know what to say. He landed 3 of them at 33%. Now, for some reason, it shows, I guess, JDM because of the trips and all that he tried in the clinch and all that, but I think he shot a few times. It says 3 takedown attempts for JDM. None of them were successful, but, I mean, you're not going to expect a boxer to go be an offensive wrestler. And you look at significant strikes, Belal at 132, and then JDM at 178. So, like I said, the power. We want to go round by round here. Let's take a look. So, round 1. So, we're looking at total strikes for this. So, Belal at 21, JDM at 29. And during this, it's like, okay, Belal, I guess he's going to try to make JDM comfortable on the feet. Then he'll start to slip in his takedowns later on. Because in this round, he tried to take him out once. But we're thinking it's like, okay, like I guess, he's trying to feel him out. Cool. Now, let's go to round 2. Round 2. Belal, 21 total strikes landed. JDM, 30. So, outstruck him again. Now, Belal tried to take him down 3 times, failed each one of them. It's like, okay, I was expecting a bit more takedowns from Belal, but it is what it is. Now, round 3. And then, so JDM's clearly up 2 rounds. And it's like, all right, so Belal really has got to go balls to the wall for takedowns at this point, right? Total strikes, 32 Belal, 35 JDM. Now, it was closer on the feet that round, clearly, but, 0 takedowns for Belal, 0 attempts. And now it's like, okay, so it was a little closer, but at the same time, JDM has the power shots, obviously. And the last thing you want to do is strike with JDM, no matter who you are. And so, yeah, JDM clearly rounds 1, 2, and 3. He's up ahead in the cards for sure. Let's take a look. Round 4. 35 strikes for Belal landed versus 51 for JDM. Takedowns. Belal shot for 3. He landed 1. 0 as sub-temps because, why would a wrestler try to submit him? And, yeah. Now, we're at the 11th hour here. So people are saying, especially like the commentary, yeah, Belal needs a finish. In what world, bruh? In what world is he going to get a finish? This isn't Sean Brady. Like, JDM knows what he's doing on the feet, and he is not intimidated whatsoever by Belal. He can take everything Belal can and more. And I guess for this fight, Belal could take everything that JDM threw at him. But, we get to round 5. And man, at the end of that round, I was so shocked that JDM didn't get out of there. Especially like the body head. Like, it was reminding me of Taporia. And then he clinched him at the end there. I don't know why JDM would have done that. I think if JDM didn't clinch him at that end, he would have gotten him out of there for sure. Total strikes, 46 for Belal, 56 for JDM. And Belal got a takedown, and, well, he shot 2 takedowns and he got 2 of them, which was good for Belal, but too little, too late. And during the fight, Belal got one of the takedowns, and I was like, at the end of the fight, seeing JDM, he had like the swollen eye, and I'm like, I was impressed. I'm not going to lie. But you go back and you watch, it was when Belal took him down and he was landing a bunch of those elbows. I think that's where it came from. I don't think the swollen eye came from anything of Belal's Canelo hands. But, yeah, I mean, hey, I'm impressed by Belal's heart and the fact that he was to damage JDM. If anything, I thought JDM would just kind of be a little like red in the face, a few little blemishes or whatever, and then just exhausted. But JDM had some damage on him. I'll give him that. But yeah, if JDM thinks just because of this fight he's gonna go through Makhachev, you got another thing coming. Makhachev is everything Belal can do, way better, way faster, way stronger. And yeah, I just think JDM is in big trouble when he goes against Makhachev. And if you look at the target, so Belal was mostly headhunting at 90%. And JDM, obviously the more dynamic striker, 63% on the head, 26% on the body, and 10% on the leg. Belal was only like 2% on the leg, but who cares? Those calf kicks were working good for JDM as well. I think, especially on the Makhachev one, I think he should throw a bit more, because that's really really impactful for the wrestler, because they need their base to go push off and get the takedowns. So if JDM can get those calf kicks going, and especially like he was doing good with those uppercuts and those knees to get the, to push away the wrestling for sure. He did really, really good. And now that that's done with, I can't lie and say I'm not disappointed. And if we look at, so what Dana White, I guess, confirmed before this fight, that Topuria, if Makhachev was going to move up, Topuria would be versus Oliveira. Now, I don't want to see that. Topuria is my favorite fighter, and I'll watch any fight he's in. For sure, don't get me wrong. But I also like Oliveira. And I don't want to see what's going to happen to Oliveira. Because I'm not going to go into a deep breakdown here, but you look at Oliveira's past performances, almost every time he's up against an elite level competition, like top 5, he's getting dropped. And Topuria is now not having to cut those extra 10 pounds, and he is feeling healthier, stronger than ever. And the difference between all those other strikers and fighters versus Topuria is that he needs one. He needs one. He can turn Oliveira's lights off like that. And I'm very worried for Oliveira. I think Topuria walks through him. I'd much rather see Arman versus Topuria, because I think Arman isn't as damaged goods. They're both younger, and I think it just makes more sense for the title picture. Because it's like, Oliveira, he got dominated by Makhachev their first fight. I don't think anyone's really going to be excited. Let's say, for example, Makhachev comes back down. Let's say Oliveira wins. I don't think anyone's excited to see that rematch. I think, if anything, Topuria's number one interest, Makhachev, like, he's the most interesting Makhachev opponent by far. He gives the most problems. Then it would be Arman. But like I said in my previous videos, you look at it as a video game. You look at all their stats. Makhachev's just better everywhere than Arman. And I think it would be a hard-fought decision, but I think Makhachev wins that every time. Like I said, very close, but it is what it is. Now, I guess we're going to wait and see, and we're going to have announcements very soon, because International Fight Week is just around the corner. And we're going to find out whether it's a interim or an official undisputed, because Dana White does not love these double champ things, but I think his relationship with Khabib and the whole, Khabib's camp with Makhachev and all that, I think they have a really good relationship, so I doubt they would strip him. But, Topuria has already come out and said he's not fighting for an interim. He's fighting for undisputed, so that's going to be a bit of a nightmare to figure out negotiation-wise. But, that's the thing. If it's an interim, Makhachev's not John Jones. He will fight the interim champion. And on his Twitter, he's like, I'm going to go up 150 or 170, and hopefully I'll have a proper contender. And I get from Makhachev like where he's coming from, because he doesn't want to just rack up title defenses against short notice and 145ers. It makes sense. So if all goes to plan of what I think is going to happen, I think Topuria is going to knock out Oliveira. Maybe in the first, 2 rounds, maybe 3, if that. depending on how Topuria looks against these bigger opponents, because I know Holloway was a bit bigger, but yeah, I think we'll just wait and see. I think Oliveira is going to get annihilated, and I don't want to see that because Oliveira is a good dude, and it's just, yeah, I think it's gonna be too little, too late. I think Oliveira has way too many miles on him, and yeah, hopefully we still get the Makhachev-Topuria fight. I'm still hoping that. I hope Makhachev lives up to his word and he's like, hey, Topuria proves himself, then I'll go fight him. But it's not looking good. And yeah, solid performance from you, JDM. Great performance. Belal, listen, there's not a chance in hell, a snowman's chance in hell, you're ever going to touch the belt or even get a title shot again. So if you're going to continue fighting, do what got you to the dance. Wrestle. You're not here to strike. You're not a good striker. I'm sorry. I'm going to call it how it is. You're not a good striker. If you want to continue for however many fans you got, because you had a bunch of these temporary fans, so don't get too excited. These guys are rooting for you for a different reason, not for you, but for what was to come. Wrestle. If you want to stay winning, wrestle. That's all I got to say. And yeah, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys on the next one.